Hello, hello to all of you loved ones. This is Love Marlene 411, and welcome to the Sip and Chat, where myself and my awesome co host, Miss Nexie, we talk about various topics about trauma healing, life lessons, issues, personal development, all of those things. So, welcome to today's podcast. Today's podcast is Just Walk Away. But before we get into all of that, we have to say, hey, everybody, how are you doing? Happy Thursday. Welcome to today's show. I hope all is well in your world. And of course, what are you sipping on? Sipping on anything interesting today because I'm having some tooth issues. I just have water. My favorite thing is going to happen tomorrow. I'm going to the dentist. And, that's just one of the scariest things in the entire world. So I'm afraid to have anything sweet so it doesn't trigger my toothache. So, yeah, all of those things. But yes, everybody, welcome to today's Sip and Chat. I really do appreciate every single one of you, and welcome to the show. Today, we're going to be talking about that we just need to just walk away. And there's certain people that we definitely need to walk away from. And we're going to get into all of that when my co host comes up. But yeah, we're going to be talking about all of those things. Let's see. I just see a comment in the chat. I see my weight loss journey with Keto Granny. How are you doing, Keto Granny? Welcome in. How are you doing? Thank you so much for stopping by and this conversation, this podcast. I hope all is well with you. Happy Thursday to you. If you could hit the like, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So today we're going to be talking about um, like just walking away. We need to walk away from certain individuals, and nothing good will happen until we do that. Absolutely nothing will happen until we walk away. So you're doing good. Awesome, awesome. What are you sipping today, Keto Granny? Because this is the sip and chat. Today I just have water. I don't have any fruity drink. I don't have a Mai Tai or an apple martini. Just water today. We're still waiting on my co host, Miss Nexie, to join me. So let me get started with today's topic. Today, we're talking about we just need to walk away from certain individuals. And those certain individuals could be various people. But first, I want to say this, it takes a lot of courage to walk away from things. And the first one that I want to talk about is just walking away from the environment where you're not personally growing, you're not experiencing personal growth, like your job. You could be at a job for 5, 10, 15, 20 years and you're not experiencing any growth, and we need to do something about it. What are you going to do about that? Are you going to stay stuck in this toxic um, work environment where you're not growing, especially if you have certain skills? Don't limit yourself. And a lot of times we limit ourselves, and we're doing all of these things for a job that is causing us to feel down and be down. But don't do that. We deserve better. And unfortunately, sometimes a job will not help us to grow. A job will not help us to heal and to do our best, because I've been on jobs for years and years, and then one issue comes up, like for instance, when I lost my mother and my father back to back. There was no sort of compassion, there was no understanding. I got 3 days. I lost both of my parents in 7 months. And there was absolutely no compassion after working for the company for over 4 years. They never said, take a few weeks or a month off. I got 3 days off. My mother passed on a Wednesday and they wanted me back to work on Monday. It's one of those things that we have to find out, like where are we growing and where we aren't. And many times if you are in an environment that is toxic and they're not helping you or assisting you or even just being respectful in general. For me, on certain jobs, when you have micromanagement happening, a lot of negativity, we have to do something about it. We have to do something different. And if we don't, we'll stay on a job until we're no longer around. You'll wear yourself out on a job. You'll be giving the job every single thing that they could want. You're one of the best employees that they ever had. But all they care about is just making sure that you are available to do their work and to do what they want you to do. And that's just not good enough. In every job, you should be going up the ranks. You should be getting a better position. You should be getting a better pay rate. There should be a lot of things that should be happening for you. And when you find yourself not growing, not elevating, not feeling peace, not feeling joy, whatever it is that you choose to do for work, whatever it is that you are choosing to do in this life, it may be time to walk away. Because I found that sometimes you feel you have this thing in your mind that I've been doing this job for such a long time, and you get used to the routine and you stick with that. But not all the time that is good for us. We deserve better. And if we just have the courage to probably apply for a different job, having different people, and your whole environment could change. You can feel so good at that job. You will be so appreciated, and you'll get the benefits and all the things that you need. So I just wanted to say that to whoever needs to hear that. If you feel like you're in an environment where that is very toxic, I know that it's not easy. And no, Marlene is not saying just walk away from a job. I'm not saying that. Don't just walk away and leave your job. But if you find that you feel angry all the time, if you have people and they don't respect your boundaries, they're disrespectful, or they use you, they don't talk to you with respect, it may be time to weigh other options, as in looking for other employment or seeking your own employment, becoming your own business owner. It's just some things to think about. Sometimes you get to a space or a stage where it's just not working and you have to walk away. And that's the job. That's the job business circuit. Sometimes you just aren't growing there and you have to walk away. Another like relationships that sometimes we have to close and walk away from is your children. You could have your grown children, and this does not apply to everybody, but sometimes you may have children and they're grown and they become entitled, and they can be very disrespectful and rude to you, take advantage of you. They don't listen to you. They don't listen to what you have to say. Not saying that you have to agree on everything, but they're not respectful of you. Sometimes you have to leave those people alone and go your separate ways. You really and truly do. And it's only because you love yourself. And when you love yourself, you have to give yourself that permission to move on. Do that for yourself. Just walk away from them. And you may not be able to walk away from them 100% because that's your blood relative, but walking away in a sense that you don't make yourself available maybe like you used to. And you just have to have enough courage to say, it's time for me to leave this environment. Okay, it's time for me to do something else, start thinking of myself. And many who are parents, they've had to do that. They have to just say, I've given you most of the time the best years of my life. I've given you everything. And it seems that they're still acting like they're 3 years old, 5 years old, 7 years old. And just going to have to say, I just can't help you like I used to. You're going to have to do some things on your own. Of course, you never stop being a parent. That never ends. But at the same time, you can't make it be to the point where you feel hurt, you feel disappointed, you feel disrespected. And sometimes for certain relationships, you have to give them a break. You do. You have to give them a break and just say, you need your time, obviously, because you're not respecting me. And maybe I just don't understand what you're going through, or they may not want to tell you what they have going on. And they seem to be snapping at you, being disrespectful, going outside of what they should, outside of the way that you've raised them. And now, them being an adult, of course, now they're free to do what they want because they're grown. But one thing that we don't have to do as parents is put up with disrespect. And I see it very often. Many parents putting in so much work into their children, and when they get to be older, the children just don't pay them any mind. They don't really care anything about what they're doing and how they're feeling. They don't check on them. They don't stop by to see them. They don't talk to them. All of those things. So we just have to know when it's time to say when it's time to throw in the towel and say, I got to leave this alone. I have to let them go their separate ways. And many times we have to walk away from people because they're toxic. A toxic individual, it's not like a person who has like certain bad habits. A toxic person is all for themselves. It's only about their benefit. And those are the type of relationships that I wanted to highlight today, because the environment is just not good for us. The environment is very hurtful and painful, and you're disrespected all of the time. They only think about what they want and what they need. So we have to do something different. You have to. You can't allow yourself to stay in that same environment that you have been for years. You know, that's what we have to just leave them alone. There's certain individuals we have to just leave them alone. And I know that it hurts. I know, especially when it's your children, to leave your children alone. I know that it's hurtful when it's a job that you've put in so much energy and effort into, and you just have to walk away because we have no other choice but to do that. I see my co host, Miss Nexie, in the background. Let's welcome her to the Sip and Chat.
Hello, beautiful.
Hi, Miss Nexie. How are you doing?
Well, let's not go there right now. We'll do that on a
That
private
says
call.
it all. That says it all. You don't have to say less.
How are you? Hi, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. How's your day so
Yes.
far?
Everything's okay besides I'm experiencing a little bit of a toothache today. So,
Ooh.
yeah. I was
Ooh. Or a
thinking about,
gel.
yeah, I've been doing that all day, or a gel and pain reliever.
Okay, good. Good.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
So
Okay.
so I'm having water.
Go ahead and ask me. Go ahead and ask me. You'll be
Okay,
surprised. You'll be
Miss
shocked.
Nexet, Miss Nexet, what are you sipping on?
Coffee.
Oh, my mind is blown.
A
Is this an
nice warm
explosion?
cup
I
of
can't believe
coffee.
it. This is unbelievable.
I
Miss
knew it was gonna
Nixie
blow
has
your mind.
coffee.
I
Wow.
was like, she's gonna be like, "Wow, she has changed. I don't recognize my friend no more." I needed it, that cup of coffee. I need this cup of coffee, Marlene. I really do.
I know, Miss Nixie. I know. So
It's so much fun
t-
to come here.
today we're talking about just walking away from people, from
Hmm.
situations.
Just
You
walk
know,
away.
yeah, just
I
walk
get
away.
it.
There's certain things that, and I know I can say for a long period of time I was toxic. I'm going to admit that. For a period of time I definitely was toxic, and I was thinking, if I'm just a little bit nicer, if I'm a little bit kinder, maybe if I'm a little bit patient, maybe they'll grow up, maybe they'll mature, maybe they'll love me, maybe they'll appreciate me. And they never did.
Good luck with that one. You
Yep.
know, walking away. You see, a lot of people see that. I gotta chime in here because I have so many people that I have to walk away from. Um,
Mhm.
because punching them will mean jail time for me, and I cannot afford it. I don't have bail money. Look, walking away is not an act of cowardness. It's not an act of meanness. It's not anything like that. Walking away is done, at least for me. Walking away for me is done for my mental, sanity, for for for
Mhm.
my peace of mind, for my again, for everything is done for me. I don't walk away to help the other person. Oh, but maybe not, like I said, because I don't have no bail money. um, I don't do it for them. I do it for me. Now, it took
Mhm.
me a while to get here. To get to the point where I could say, you know what, I would just say just that. You know what, and I would just walk away. On the phone call, same thing. If they were going on and on and on and on that I did not do something or I did something, whatever, I said, you know what, hang up and block that person. I didn't block them. I just didn't answer their phone calls. But the thing here is not an act of cowardice. It's an act actually of restraint. It's an act
Mhm.
of a lot of courage. When you actually walk away from someone that you literally just want to, let's leave it at that. What you're doing
That you
is you're
want, you want to
protecting.
beat the mess out of. Come on, Miss Nexie, just say it. You just want you.
You just want to just let me just knock those two front teeth. That's all I want. That's it. Just the two
Yeah,
front.
just the two front teeth so that
When
they
you're
can
ready.
keep a bite down, right?
Exactly. So when you're walking away, it's not because you're a coward or because you don't want to be woman enough to confront whatever it is that is going on, or man enough that you don't want to fight with this person. It's not that. It's not an act of cowardness. It's actually an act of valor and an act of a lot of restraint, a lot of power on your side, because you are controlling yourself not to go where that person is at right now.
Mm-hmm.
And saying, sayonara, whatever, goodbye, adios, saying those things doesn't mean that you cannot handle them. It means that you don't want to handle them. And that's the power you have. I don't want to deal with you. That's it. And that's my
Yep.
power. I'm not going to because I don't want to. Not
Yep.
because I can't. I just don't want to. So
Yep.
sometimes we have to walk away from people that we love, people that are blood to us, blood related. We have to walk away because of the fact that we are blood related. Because we're gonna hurt with words, or maybe sometimes, with putting hands on people, which I don't believe in that. But we can hurt people like that, and we're blood related. So that means we're always going to see each other. The best thing to do in a case like that is just walk away. Don't throw more fuel to the fire. It's not worth it. You're not gonna get anywhere like that. You're gonna lose the pride and your sanity. So why go there? It's better to walk away, and walk away knowing that you were not the cause of that. That's that person's problem, not yours.
Exactly. And I wanted to
I don't
highlight
know.
Flirt,
Oh,
and
I'm
I
sorry.
wanted to highlight Flirt's comment. Hi, Flirt.
Hey,
Um, um,
flirt.
Flirt.
Hold on, I have to say it, Marlene. I
Oh
always
yeah,
wanted to say
that's
it.
right. You have to say. Go
Flirt.
ahead.
Yeah, but I did already. You didn't even hear
Oh,
me.
come
I said
on, do it right.
flirt. I always want to say that. I swear to God. And every time I see flirt, I'm like, flirt. How are you?
Yes, that's how I feel too. So Flirk says walking away is imperative for your own sanity. Mm,
Amen.
that's a
Amen.
that's a that's a whole thing that we forget sometimes, that this is not just for other people. This is for ourselves. It's not a matter of
Mm-hmm.
respect, even though it's about respect, but for the most part, there's nothing that is more important than our own self-respect and our mental health. And some individuals, no matter how much times you say no, how much times you tell people you don't like things, they still always try to push the boundaries and still try to be disrespectful. And you know that because they will never change, I'm going to have to leave before I react and do something I can't take back.
Yeah, exactly, Marine. It is for your own peace of mind, and also people feel that because you don't answer back, that you're a coward. You know what I mean? That you're cowering around them, and that they got you. The problem is
Mhm.
that if you don't walk away every time they do things like this, they're gonna find out that it's not that you're a coward. It's just that you can take them down in less than a minute, but you don't want to go there. And I don't mean
Yeah.
fighting. I mean with words, because
Hmm.
I like to use my words. I don't like, to be violent in any way. I just don't. But sometimes there's people that you're like, just the front teeth, just.
Yeah,
I don't
just
know why. I just want to hit
that's
those little
all.
front teeth.
That's all I'm trying to do.
And it happens a lot with our relatives. You notice when they're teasing, they continue to. I don't know. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. I don't even want to. I don't even want to say I don't know if you, because I know you have. When we go to certain relatives that our parents have said something about us, and then they start throwing like little comments here and there about the daughter of so and so who did blah blah blah, the exact same thing you did to your parents.
Hmm.
And and everywhere they go, and then you go to somebody else, and then your other cousin, sister, daughter, whatever says, oh yeah, I have a friend who did this, and you know what happened to her. So people like that can mess with your head, can get you in that state of mind of saying, my parents, what the heck, I told you
I
this in
know.
confidence, or only you guys knew about this. How come these people know? Or why is it that every time I have something with you, you run to them and tell them and put
Hmm.
me, you know what I mean? Like, but you see, I had to learn that our parents come from a totally different generation that you and I come from. And that
Hmm.
and our kids are going to go through the same thing. Now, the difference between that is that I learned that because I didn't like the feeling of people knowing my life because of my parent. I'm not gonna say who, but you know who. Because of my parents' lack of restraint, what I learned from that is that I don't want to cause that pain to my child. So I don't divulge everything that goes on with my children because it's nobody's business but mine.
Exactly.
And there's a difference is that we can learn from things like that. So for me, what I started doing, because I'm a very reserved person, Marlene, and you know
Hmm.
that I'm very very reserved. My thing is my home, work before, my kids, their activities. I have never been one that partakes in a lot of uh, social events with family. I used to
Hmm.
before. But I started seeing that that was affecting me more than it was bringing me joy to be together with all these people. I was becoming frustrated. I was like always thinking, like, did you hear what he said or she said that I said about so and so? And I cannot believe your mom went and said that to so and so. So I started going through that, and I made it a conscious effort to say, you know what? I'm gonna go only to the parties or to the invitations I get from people that I know are not gonna get me in the state of mind. That I'm not gonna come home super exhausted from my brain and my ears of hearing everybody's everything.
Everybody's
So because
complaints.
of that, I learned as my children growing up. Yeah, so I learned that my children don't need to be surrounded by that. I had no choice because it's what I grew up with. But I made a conscious
Mhm.
decision to say, no, not my kids. I'm gonna bring them up the way I feel is best for them, and hopefully moving forward. And I like the fact that my children are the same way, that if my daughter tells her brother something, he doesn't come up to me and tell me. He waits until she tells me, because they go to him first. Or he goes
Mhm.
to them first and then to me, or he'll come. He actually, my sons come to me first, but I don't go and tell their sisters what's going on, because maybe he doesn't want to. So I keep it
Mhm.
to myself, and then when they say, "Mom, did you know blah blah blah?" Yes, honey, he told me. Okay, good. We just want to make sure that you knew. He didn't say not to tell you, so we figure it was okay. I said, "Yeah, he already came to me." So I like that my children are not were not raised, were not brought up in the same chaos that you and I did, because kids are different nowadays. You know,
Mhm.
they're different, and
Actually,
I apply that to my kiddos.
actually,
Go on, Miss Maddie.
Miss Nexie, I actually don't think it's ever been different. We just were raised in a toxic environment where they didn't understand how
Yes.
to communicate. I don't think it's ever been okay. It's just that we just adopted that as a norm because we didn't have choices and communication and different things you know, like before.
Sí, señorita. It's true. We come from it's I think it's a generational thing that everybody has to know everybody's business. And
Hmm.
your aunt feels that she has the right to come up to you and tell you what you're doing wrong to your mom, or what you're doing
Hmm.
wrong to blah blah blah, or what's wrong with your life, because your mom
Yeah.
told her what was wrong with it. So now she has the right. And you're like, "Mom, seriously? How embarrassing."
No, no, you know
Or they
what
can
would
tell you,
irritate what would irritate me, Miss
go on.
Nexie, is when your parents would tell whatever it is that you're doing as a child, because of course you're growing up, so of course you're doing silly little things, and they would bring it up in front of the whole family at
Oh
a
yeah.
big get
Oh
together,
yeah.
like you weren't there. Oh, do you know they did this? And you would just feel, and you could just feel like the wind, the air going out, like you were like a balloon deflating. You just want to
So
disappear into the wall.
yes, yes. So and they think it's funny, and they think it's okay. So I go to this. I went to this party once, when we were younger with my siblings, and one of my aunties thought it was super hilarious to tell everybody that one of my cousins went to use number two and forgot to flush the toilet, and described everything. And everybody started laughing, and how stinky it was. And she thought that was okay to say that to everybody. My cousin was mortified. You could tell he was so, so, so hurt. And my
Mm.
aunt was like, "Ah, you're such a baby, blah, 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 blah." And I told her, "No, he's not." And we were young. I said, "You're out of line." And my dad grabbed me. He said, "No, no, 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 go, 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 go." We're not gonna get into that with you, because I was about to go off, because that was my favorite. That is my favorite cousin, and he was so embarrassed that his mother was divulging those personal things. Like everybody forgets from time to time to do certain things like that, and I am guilty of it. Not maybe the number two, but sometimes we forget to do not, like when we flush the toilet when we do number, because we're rushing, right? We all
Mm-hmm.
guilty of that. That doesn't mean everybody has to know, or that you have to use a party with strangers there to say things like that. My cousin was so hurt. He was so embarrassed every time.
Yeah,
Like he didn't want to go to
and
parties anymore after that.
the thing about that, Miss Nexie, is that sometimes family, it can hurt you the most. You know,
Yes.
family can hurt
Yes,
you the
ma'am.
most, and they feel like everything that they do is okay. Oh, that's okay because that's whoever. That's my son. That's my daughter. That's my
Oh, no, no,
aunt.
no,
That's
no,
my
no.
cousin. Like it's okay.
Miss Marlene, my favorite. Get over it. Oh, you're so sensitive. Oh my God, this girl, or God, this guy. Get over it. Oh
Mhm.
my God, you make such a big deal. They don't take into account your feelings. The pain that they're causing. And I hate when they say that. And I hate to say hate because I don't like to use that word. But I do hate when they say things like that. Get
I
over
do
it.
too.
Oh my God, this guy is so sensitive. Or this girl always in her feelings.
Yeah.
You feel dismissed 1,000 times in that moment because everybody's agreeing with them. So that means I am too sensitive, maybe it's me. So they start putting all these things on you. And the beautiful thing about that is that we were able to walk away. We were
Yes.
able to not repeat the cycle. We were able to say, yeah, you guys were done messed up, but guess what? We're gonna do a lot different than you have because you guys are
Yeah.
cool. And I did tell my aunt that once. I got the when I was older, I saw her here once, and I've never really liked her to begin with because it's on my mom's side of the family, so I really don't like her. And I finally got to tell her. I said, "Do you have any idea what you did that day? Because my cousin doesn't really, communicate with her, and she was complaining." And I told her, I said, "You have no idea what you've done to this boy all of his life. I'm glad he doesn't talk to you." And I told the other person, "You continue this, you're next. I won't talk to you."
Yeah. I always
I know I'm
tell
bad.
people.
I'm
I
really
always
bad.
tell
But,
people,
I
Miss
did get to
Nexie,
tell her. Yes.
I'm
Yes,
glad
ma'am.
that you did because sometimes we have to let people understand that what goes around comes around. Many people who are adults think that, okay, of course, everybody has the right to do whatever it is that they want. Everybody, you have the right. But remember, when you do things, it comes with consequences. I see we have
Exactly.
pre-retirement Betty. Miss Betty is in the building. Hi, Miss Betty.
Oh, hi, Miss Betty.
And hi to say
And again,
family.
oh, to say, how are you? Yeah, and the thing here is, you don't have to be disrespectful. All I said to her was, "Are you surprised that he doesn't speak to you as often as you wish he did?" I said, "Do you have an idea what you've done to him? You've done a number on him. You just don't care enough to know." And I was asked to be quiet, don't say anything, blah blah blah. And I said, "No, I'm not disrespecting her because somebody told me you've been disrespectful." I said, "I'm not. Have I disrespected you?" "No, no, no, baby." I said, "Exactly. I haven't disrespected her. I'm just telling her like it is. Don't blame
Yeah,
him for everything. Put yourself in his shoes. You've done a number on him, and you have to, be accountable. You have to talk to him and ask him for forgiveness because you have no idea how many times you've hurt him, and he hasn't said anything to you. He chooses to walk away from you because it's the best thing for his sanity,
yeah,
for a healthy state of mind." And that's what he tells me all the time. "I'm so much happier now because I don't have to be around them. They used to suffocate me," he used to tell me. And now he finally said it. "They did. They suffocated me. I was so scared of them, of what they were gonna say, because he stopped going to gatherings after that incident. And I think I saw him once more in another gathering, but that was it. because the story kept repeating. Every time he was there, they would talk about that incident, describing the
Mhm.
shape, describing the smell, and everything. And it's like, you guys are disgusting.
Yeah, and it
But,
shows that their
we
level
have
of
to
maturity.
sometimes, and Marlene, a lot of people say, like you said before, I was a little too toxic at one point. I was too this, I was too that. You knew you were that kind of person. So those
Mhm.
people that got hurt by the things that you did, you have already apologized to, I'm sure, knowing you. But if you
Yeah.
haven't, you have to, because people keep in their hearts and everything that we do when we don't apologize to them. Sincerely
Mhm.
apologize, not just say, yeah, I'm sorry, whatever. I mean, sit down and say, look, this is why I was this way. I am very, very sorry. And
Yeah.
talking to people, apologizing the right way, is something that we can do before. If they don't take our apology and they continue to resent us, then that's when we walk away a second time, because
Right.
it's not on us anymore, it's on them.
Right. That's one thing that I would say, like just walking away. I know what it feels like on both sides. I know what it feels like that people have had to walk away from me because I'm toxic. And I can only say that because I'm a mature woman now, where now I can be
Hmm.
accountable and look at myself in the mirror and say, ooh, I was I was a nightmare. I was a terror. But I can say that because I'm accountable to myself and I know what is good and what is bad. Now I can do that. But
Hmm.
also I've been on the other side of it too, where I have been the person that has to do the walking away because certain individuals that no matter how much we love them, no matter how much we care about them, we can't change them, we can't stop them from continuing to hurt us and to take advantage of us and to like keep on wiping their feet on us like we're trash, we're garbage, just walk over us. And anything we tell them how we feel, they don't want to hear it, they don't want to listen to us because it's not about them, everything is about them. And those are not the type of people
Hmm.
that now I can keep in my life.
Exactly. You get to a point, especially when you reach that level of maturity. And I don't mean that you're grown at that point. That I'm 20, I'm 30, so now I know. No, it's when you get that level of maturity in your brain, in your person, that your core knows that you made mistakes, that you don't want to be that person, and you do everything in your power to change that person. Because that's the thing, is that a lot of people, and I'm gonna step on some toes. Sorry, people. Sorry, if
Move your
anybody's
toes
here.
out the way.
And what I'm about to say, yeah, move your toes out of the way. What I'm about to say, I don't mean it for anyone to disrespect anyone, or be mean or anything, or diminish your effort if you ever did this. But this is the reason why a lot of times therapy doesn't work for people. Did I step on
Mhm.
any toes? Is because people don't take accountability. They always take the, others' culpability, but not your own. And the reason that therapy works for some of us is because we're willing to go to that uncomfortable space in our hearts and our minds that says, yes, you were a little. There's
Yep.
some emojis that come to my mind. There's a little emoji of a little brown little thing going up with little eyes smiling.
Or
Yeah, you
or
were
or
that
the
little piece
emoji
of.
with all the explanation point and the yeah, that. Oh,
The red emoji with the yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, those two come to mind. We have been able to do that. It's not something that is easy, and it's not for the faint of heart. You have to know that doing that is going to be one of the most uncomfortable things you're going to do in your life. Because the one thing you don't ever want to do as a human, and that's normal as a human being, is find faults on you. No, I'm perfect. Well, I am. You know that, Marty. I've always been perfect. I've always said that I'm perfect. Nobody can change my mind on that one. But that's the reason why it doesn't work. and it doesn't do anything
Mhm.
for you because you're not willing to go to that uncomfortable space and say, yes, I was a little
Yep, yep.
and I have to grow up. I have to change. Now, the first step that when therapy starts working is when you accept that. Now, the second one is the hardest one, and that is the changing that individual. Now, that is the hardest thing that one can do. But again, and I don't mean it to disrespect anyone, but a lot of people say it doesn't work for me, and they discourage people that actually can work for and that need it because they say, oh, that doesn't do anything for me. Oh, it didn't. You shouldn't say that. You should look deep inside yourself and find out why it didn't work for you, because there's all different kinds of therapies, right? So for
Mhm.
me, once I started, because I thought I was perfect, Marty. Oh, I thought everybody else around me was the one with the problem.
Mhm.
I was perfect, and I will behave. I'm very respectful. I am this, I am that, and I'm a delight. Like Marlene, I'm a
Mhm.
delight. Like,
Yep.
what complaint can people have about me? And once I started going into the little gray line, I'm like, oh, I don't know, I don't like this part of this, whatever it is that we're doing. I think I'm gonna quit. It's not working for me. And I did say those words, by the way, but it wasn't an option because I needed it. It was part of my class, so I needed that in order to get the grade that I wanted, the highest grade that I wanted. So, but you go there and you're like, no, I don't want to. But once you do, once you start seeing that you are this, I was that, and I can change. When change comes to you, believe it or not, you can help others do the same by showing them how much you have changed. That even if you walked away from them 10 years ago, I'm back here now in front of you to ask you to apologize, to do this because I have changed. So, you know, walking away is not always a bad thing. Not
Yeah.
always.
But you know what? What I learned is that walking away is not only good for your mental health, it's not only good for your peace of mind, it's not only good for your joy, but it's good for your finances.
Yes, ma'am. I have
I
money in
had
my
no idea,
pockets.
Miss Nancy. I was
Yeah.
like, I could have money in my bank account? Like, what?
I, Marlena, remember we said that in one of our lives? We were like, oh my God, I didn't realize how much savings I could have every month by walking away.
Mhm.
I was like, I can save that much. That means all the. You know what I did? I refused to do the math. The math thing wasn't adding up, so I said, nope, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna leave it where it's at. I'm gonna cry.
Mhm.
I'm gonna enjoy my cry of so many years of money that I threw away because it's a throwaway.
Exactly. That's one of the things that we have to do. We have to have enough courage to walk away, and it's not an easy thing. And for many of us, it takes some time to develop enough courage to say, my child, my spouse, significant other, or boyfriend or girlfriend, my children, my job, my friends are toxic, and I have to leave them alone. And you may not be able to leave people alone completely when they're your relative, but you can make choices about not telling them all your personal or private business. When you're doing something, you just do it and you just go and live your life and not involve them in everything. Like, don't tell them every decision that you're about to make. I'm going to do this and going to do that. You just leave them alone.
And I'm glad you said that, Marlene, especially because you kind of threw in the bonus of children
Hmm.
in the mix. um, Relationships with our children can become toxic too. That
Hmm.
doesn't exclude anyone. Toxicity doesn't exclude that because you're my child, you're not toxic, or because you're my parent, you're not toxic. Relationships can turn that way, especially if it's a give, take, and not give anything back in return, right? So a lot of times I think that as parents, because you have that nurturing heart, that you always want to be part of your child's life, and you always want to be, whenever they need you, you want to be at a beck and call, right here, I'm here, I can help you, I can, I can stop the pain, I
I'm
can
gonna protect
do
you.
whatever it
I'll
is. You
save
always
you.
want
I'll
to,
bail you out.
yeah, I'm protecting you, I'm gonna stop that bleeding, whatever it is. You want to protect, you want to overdo everything, because in your heart, they still that little 1 year old, that little 2 year old,
Mhm.
that little 4 year old that needed you so much. You forget oftentimes that they're grown adults that are
Mhm.
making your life miserable. They're not that baby anymore. I'm sorry, I had to
Oh,
say that.
we want them to
They're
be
not your
babies.
baby. Yeah, they're not your babies anymore. They're grown adults that need consequences, because we can sometimes allow them to make our life the way I just
Hmm.
said, you know,
Yeah.
because we continue to allow that behavior. The only way you can repair that is the same way that you handle other people. Walk away. That's
Hmm.
your blood. If he ever wants to come back and look for you, good. And if not, then oh well. You know what I mean? It can be in 10 years, in 20 years, but if your sanity and your mental health is deteriorating because of someone like that, then you need to walk away. And I don't mean abandon them, don't ever see them, don't ever talk to them, don't ever. No, I don't mean that. What I mean is walk away from what makes your mind go there.
Hmm.
If the phone calls come in every other day to ask you for something, say, you know what? Let's do something. Let's talk every week. I'll call you on Saturday, or you can call me on Sunday, whenever is best for you. We'll talk. We'll see how we're doing. In the middle of the week, text, how you doing, honey? Everything okay? Did you make it home? How was work? Simple things like that. But we can have a nice conversation at the end of the week. And if that doesn't work, you know what? Let's talk every 2 weeks. Because our children also need to get desensitized from our protection.
Yeah.
Sorry,
You
stepping
know,
on toes here too.
I
They,
know, Miss
go on, Miss Marcy.
Nexie, it's true. I have to say it like this. I don't have grown children, but I do have lots of siblings. And the thing about it is, when they're
Mm-hmm.
your siblings, it's like you kind of get used to their foolishness sometimes. And I hate to say it like that, but sometimes our siblings can do things that they know they're irritating. They know that these things are things that you don't like, and they still do it anyways to get a rise. And now that my siblings have found that now I don't say anything, I found that some of them have just stopped doing it because they'll say, when you do that, then she's not going to talk to you for like 2 or 3 weeks. They found it out. And they're like, how come you don't talk to me? I said, because of this and this and this. I don't tolerate disrespect. So then they say, okay, I didn't mean to say that. Don't block me. And I was like, I was
Exactly.
looking
But
at my
again, you
phone, like,
have to.
I was just about to.
It worked. Yeah. So it's again, as you go through this, you know that walking away from them, Miss Marlene, was the best thing that you have ever done, because you helped them realize what they were doing to you, what they were getting away with, and then you let them see that you continue this behavior. I'm not gonna talk to you. I'm done
Yeah.
until you come back and can behave like a grown up. Then we can talk again. But until then, and the same goes for our children. We overprotect them so much that they expect that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about me. I'm talking about me and my kiddos.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you're there so much for them that they forget. They don't appreciate your presence because you're overdoing it. Oh, she's here. Okay, no problem. I can do
Yeah.
whatever. She's always here. But once you
Yeah.
do, you take that, distance, and you allow them to see that how the way they're behaving, the things that they're doing are not acceptable anymore. They become accountable too. They
Hmm.
become accountable for what they're doing, their behavior, and and they grow up. You have to allow them to do those things, because again, we have that misconception that because they are flesh and blood, they're our kids, we have to put up with everything they do. No, we don't. At this
Hmm.
point, you're a blah 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 year old person, and you are a blah 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 year old person, and I'm a blah 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 year old person, and that's all you need to know. I don't have to put up with you. Not anymore, because that
Hmm.
popo ain't gonna come get me and say you abandoned them. No, you guys are grown.
Yeah.
CPS is not gonna come knocking on my door. You're abandoning your children.
Exactly.
So you have to sometimes re-educate people the same time, the same way, or at the same time that you're re-educating yourself. Because a lot of times we complain, Marlene, of people behaving a certain way. Oh my gosh, she doesn't change. But what change are we making for that person to finally learn and change? We continue to, you know, promote and support that behavior. So we sometimes are at fault for certain people to continue to behave that way they do. So we have to also, walk away, and
Hmm.
allow healing to process. To allow everything to process. It can be a slow process, no problem, but you have to allow that, and you have sometimes the best thing is to walk away and just
Yeah.
allow that to sink in.
Yeah. And one thing that I can say, I'm not going to share the situation that happened, but later on, after those things happened and I had to block a certain individual, they found out that nobody had ever had enough courage to do that. That they could never, they never knew that their behavior was bad. I think that they did know their behavior was bad, but because everybody always continued to accept it, they were always going to continue it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they found out that
Mm-hmm.
from me, I'm not going to put up with it, I blocked them. And then when they asked somebody else, do you know why she blocked me? And I told them, and I said, because this, and this, and said, and because you do that, she doesn't accept that. And they're, oh,
It's
yeah, there's consequences. Oh, yeah, there's consequences. You can't do
I
whatever
do
you want to
behave
do.
that way.
Hmm. And I
No,
think for them,
especially
they actually had to spend some time and process that.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And especially when you're paying, all of your bills, you're the one, head of household, you're doing all of this, and you still have to put up with that when you're not paying that one bill of my house. No,
Hmm.
no. But again, it's the thing that we have to come to understand is that we cannot continue, because when I go there. So when I presented a certain, aspect of behavior of someone that I was going through, and then my therapist is like, okay, and how long have you been enabling that behavior? And I said, what? Didn't you hear me? That person is the one that is misbehaving. You see that? I told you that person does this and this and this and this and this and this and this. And I'm like, I don't understand. And he, when again, I'm asking you, how long have you been, you know, part of
Enabling
the
that.
reason why? No, he's like, part of, because I when he said enabling, I was like, no. Then he said, well, how long have you been a part of that behavior? I'm like, what? I, I I'm not a part of it. Yes, you are. The fact
Mhm.
that you continue to condone that, you continue to take that person's I'm sorry really quick and then go back to the same behavior, that means you are the one authorizing that bad behavior. I was like,
Mhm.
again, is this broken? My mouth, is this broken? Is this not working? Did you hear that
Yeah.
person is at fault? But no, he said, remember, You are your own entity. Your space of sanity is your own. Nobody can speak for you. Only you can speak for you. If that behavior bothers you, you tell the person it bothers me. I don't like it. I don't accept it. And take some steps back. Stay away from that person and their behavior. You're not going to acquire change by accepting an apology right away and go back to the same thing. And 3 weeks later, the same thing happens. You're not going to be able to do that because you continue to enable that. You continue to support that behavior. You continue to okay it. So the only person that can speak for you, it's you.
Mhm,
I was like, again, he didn't get it.
mhm.
He doesn't understand me. He's blaming me.
Yeah, and I yeah, listen, when my therapist told me that I was the one, and I was like, and I was saying to myself, I think they need a little more training. He doesn't really know what he's talking about.
Yeah, exactly. They need more training. I'm gonna send them back to school because they don't get it, and I don't think my words are coming out of my mouth the right way. It must be my little accent that he's not getting the whole point.
Hmm. We
but
we think
but
it's that they
once
don't
I
get
went
it, but what
home,
it is that we don't have enough humility to accept when we're wrong.
yeah. Oh, or when you get home and you're doing something and the thought comes to mind and then it hits you. I wish we had a like
I think your mic went out, Miss Nexie.
that. Oh my God. Can you hear me,
Yeah, it's back now.
Miss Marley? I'm so
Yes, it's
sorry.
back.
This internet thing is so crazy. This internet is so, it's giving me such trouble today. It keeps on disconnecting me from things. But anyway, yeah, once it hits you, that that you're the enabler, that you're the one that is allowing, that you're the one that continues to. When it hits you, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
this person is
Oh,
right. I'm
yeah.
telling you, if I had like a few dollars for every time that face is made, that I think it's right. He's so right. I'll be
No,
a
now
millionaire today.
I can I wish that, I knew what I knew then what I know now. Now I would say I used to be buffering. I was definitely buffering. Like they're telling me stuff and I'm just like, still processing. Still nope. Buffering.
I wish we would have had the buffering emoji, right? That we have that goes
Mhm.
a little circle. Yeah, I wish I would have had that in my mind, and he could see it, like, I don't know, printed somewhere in my head, looking at. No, no. What he will say, Marlene, when I was like, no, but you don't understand. It's like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna give you a minute for that to sink in, but you're gonna take that minute at home, and then call me back if you need anything, or you can ask me back in 2 days or 3 days when we meet again. And I'll be like, I don't think I'm gonna change my mind. I'm telling you, it's like, that's okay, that's okay. I'm gonna give you that minute. Go home, analyze it, and then we'll talk next time. And I will come back in all quiet. He's like, so did you get it? Did you get what I was trying to say? BRB, Miss Marlene, BRB.
Yes, okay, no problem. But one of the things that I never recognized is that when we're talking about toxicity, yes, we are talking about other people and our lives being toxic, but we don't think about what we put in their toxicity, how we enable the way that we allow people to talk to us. That's just something that somebody's talking to you, yelling, screaming, being disrespectful, all of those things. It doesn't matter who it is. We can cut it off. Like you just stop talking to them. You don't allow yourself to be around certain individuals. There's always a power that we have that we don't have to take what other people are putting out. We don't have to put up with it. And for many of us, I know, well, I can say for myself, because I grew up in that environment that, you're the adults, whenever they say something, you can't ever say anything because that's deemed as rude or disrespectful. And I took that on into my adulthood, not realize like you're an adult now. You don't have to be a doormat. You don't have to be talked down to or disrespected or made fun of, and continue to allow yourself to be in that environment. And it also applies to the workplace and in friendships, all relationships. If you feel that you're being disrespected, if you feel the environment is toxic or the relationship is toxic, and you're always on the end of helping everybody, but you are never helped, those are the times where I didn't understand until I went through therapy that I needed tools to assist me, that I have the power to not be around people. I have the power to not give people my money. I have the power to cut people off. I have the power to respect myself. All of those things. So we're the ones
Okay,
that
I'm
have to
back,
do that.
Miss Marlene.
Okay. We're the ones that have to do that for we have to do that for ourselves. And I didn't understand that. I had so much power when it came to your children, your spouse, significant other, friends. We have power about what we will accept. And I didn't understand that till I went through therapy, that I had the power to say no, to not show up, to not listen to people, to not be controlled. All of those things, that I had power, but I didn't understand and realize that for myself.
Because it gets beaten out of you as you get old, especially. I shouldn't say everybody. I'm sorry. I should have said, because Marlene and I come up from like pretty much the same type of families, because it gets beat out of you as you're growing up. You're not supposed to do this. You're supposed to always be this type of person. You say something inappropriate, they freak you out to the point where you don't want to talk anymore in any parties or say anything to anyone. Your auntie, the disrespectful one that you said something to, even if though it wasn't rude or anything, you just said, that's hurtful. That person now has even more power to talk about you and put you down any way she wants to, and you have no say. You're supposed to stay quiet because somebody already told you that you were disrespectful and you were this and you were that. Now, as you go, when we went through therapy, now that auntie, I would just look at her. She will freak out
Hmm.
because she knows not to mess with me. And again, in my family, Marlena, I'm not a disrespectful person. Like I said, I like to use my words. I like to talk to people. I like to, even when I put someone in their place, is with the utmost eloquent words that I can find. You
Hmm.
can put someone in their place without using profanity. You can do it very beautifully. You can put them in their place beautifully without using any of it. And so, what they know now after my therapy, and it's been set in stone actually for about 20 plus years, is that you say something I don't like, all I gotta do is give you that look. And that they know, like, oh, I went too far. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Or even if you're saying something about someone I love, right? My nieces,
Hmm.
nephews, whoever. All I gotta do is just look at them like, really? And, whoever is my family member will say, oh, run. Run. It's not safe for you to be around here. And again, I haven't, insulted anyone with profanity or anything. I just sit him down, and I think it's actually more, um, it's a lot better when you actually sit down with someone and say, look, auntie, I know you're 20 years older than me, but I'm a grown woman now. So quit that, okay? Because this is the last time I'm going to talk to you about it. You do that again next time, I'm going to say it to you again in front of everybody. Or
Hmm.
uncle, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Or mom or dad, whatever. It doesn't matter. And that's the thing. Again, is that misconception that because they are our parents, we have to put up with everything. No, we don't. If we don't live in the same roof, we don't have to. I have my own house. I have my own bills. I pay for everything myself. So why do I have to, if you're disrespecting me, allow you to continue? And I don't. Again, I will not say it in a disrespectful way. I will just say it the way I'm telling you. You know, this is not right. So a lot of times, walking away means taking control of your situation. It means
Mhm.
allowing that person to realize that they don't control you anymore, allowing the person time to sink in that you're not going to be putting up with that crap anymore. Because as easily as
Yeah.
that, you can walk away again and again and again and again.
That's what and that's what I'm talking about, Miss Nexie. And that was one of my reasons behind having this conversation is letting people know that you have the power now. You know, we're not little kids. We don't have to put up with people's negativity just because somebody um, just because
Has the
somebody
type of
is,
behavior.
yeah.
And that's the thing with me too. I live a very peaceful life with my children. I'm a single parent. I and been a single parent for, oh my god, I think almost 16, 17 years. I never remarried. It was by choice. I just don't. I enjoy solitude. I enjoy not having my day dictated by adding an extra person, that I have to tend to or take care of, because in a relationship you both have to take care of each other. So I enjoy the fact that I can get up, I can decide what the day is going to be when I do get up, and do that on my own. I love it, I really do. um I enjoy the company of my children. They come in and out as they please. I don't have anyone telling me why are they here again. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So
you,
do
you're
being
free.
that I'm free. So being that I'm like this, I have had more time to work on me, to work on myself, to read, to revisit. I have revisited my therapist since, because the first time I did it, it was what, 20 something years ago, the first time I went through therapy. And you have to sometimes retouch, certain things, because bad behaviors are not completely removed, right? You find yourself doing those behaviors again 10, 15 years after therapy. You're like, why am I here again? So you have to revisit your therapist, to refresh and to see if you have anything that's bothering you. It's always good to have someone that sees you not as my sister, my cousin, whatever, but as, a stranger, an outsider. He can tell you more exactly what it is that you're doing wrong. So, and then after, the COVID pandemic, we have gone back to therapy because, it does a number on you. But because of being alone, I have been able to re-examine and then raise my children the exact way that I wanted to. With a lot of care, a lot of love, a lot of conversation, a lot of saying, okay, I like this, but I don't like that. I like when you do this for me, but I don't like when you do this other thing. So we've been able to be the family that I always wanted to have. And I'm gonna say it. I'm sorry. I have to say it, Marlene. I created the family that I wish I would have been born in. And I didn't have a horrible or a horrid childhood. I didn't. I had a wonderful childhood with a few, hurtful
Yeah,
things, but
a few bumps in the road.
a few bumps. But my children have their mother. My children know that they can count on me. But again, they have to remember that is with the utmost of respect, that we have to love and care for each other. And if that doesn't work, or something's happening between either one of us, and walking away is the best way to heal it, and fix it and heal, then that's what we do. We don't resent each other for doing that. Actually, we give ourselves that time.
Yes, and that's what I'm talking about. I'm so grateful that you had a wonderful childhood, but Miss Nexie, I can't say the same. My
I
childhood
know.
was atrocious. It was atrocious. And I'm not saying it to be mean, but I'm just being honest. If you live in a household and everybody's in their own space with the door closed, basically we were roommates,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
You weren't
So we
family
were
members, you were
roommates. We
roommates.
weren't, there was no like close bonds like that's my brother, that's my sister, even though I knew they were. That's something that we developed as we got older. We learned how to be there and talk to each other, and it was tough. But I think it was just because my parents just didn't have that. They didn't know how to communicate. That was not important for them. For them, let's be honest, the only thing that was important to my parents was money.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just working, and they felt like if you have somewhere to live and you have food to eat, what else could you ever want? I was like, how about love and quality time and and hugs
Yeah, yeah.
after
Exactly.
some positive support, you know? How about that?
Yeah, how about it? You're having, they see you having a bad day, and say, just sitting there with you. You don't need to say anything. I'm just gonna sit here, ready when you are. Having that, I feel that it's important. And for me, Marlene, it was a beautiful childhood because I was the last of six, so all the attention was on me. I mean, I'm perfect, so what do you expect? Perfection always gets all the attention. See, they even rhyme. Perfection, attention. They even rhyme. So I
They
had
even
all the
rhyme.
attention on me, but but I feel that it's also because we lived in a very small town. The very small town. The we all did pretty much the same things. We knew each other and everybody, and so the bond was closer because our house had a certain amount of rooms. So we share rooms, boys and girls, right? And so we will be talking, we'll be playing. Of course, pillows will be flying all over the place. Be quiet already and go to bed, girl. But I had a lot of love. I had a lot of love. I had, um, a lot of attention from different people. Sometimes, certain attentions weren't the right ones, but the good, outweighed the bad.
Exactly.
And I still have a very close bond with my sisters. I love my brothers and everything, but they're still a little too overprotective. It's like, ugh. But I love
No,
my brothers,
I
adore
think
my
that's a
brothers.
worldwide thing, Miss Nexie. I think that's worldwide.
Oh my
I think that's just the
God.
bond of brothers. Brothers are just they look at
Yeah.
their sisters like they're their children.
Yeah. I mean, it's been 16 years. They still want to beat him up.
Mhm.
Leave him be. And never mind that. I did not say that on this.
No,
I'm neither
no.
gonna confirm.
I
I'm
go
neither
out
gonna
somewhere.
confirm or deny.
I go out
Miss
somewhere, and my
Marlene.
brothers will look at me like, "Where are you going with that on?" I was like, excuse me."
Yeah, no. Well. I mean, they still want to beat up somebody. The ex.
Mhm.
So I'm like, well, wait. I said it again. Neither gonna confirm or deny that I said that.
Yeah, we will not confirm or deny
Or
what
deny.
happened behind the scenes.
Yes. So, but I love the fact that they're there and I can count on them if I need them. But the bond with my sisters, it's beautiful. It's so we're so close, and that's the thing is that I feel I used to feel like odd because I only grew up with a dad who was a wonderful dad. He had his little, he made mistakes. All parents do. We all do, but he was a wonderful dad. But I always had that maybe if I would have grown up with a mom and a dad, right? Certain things would have not happened. That's what I'm thinking. But then I met certain people and certain somebodies that shows me that whether I had the one or the two, when things are going to happen to you, they're going to happen no matter what.
Yeah.
They cannot be avoided, right? It's there. And then I realized as I got to know the other parent that left the house that I was better off with that parent leaving because My father stayed and he had the peace of mind. He raised us as best as he could. Like I said, nobody's perfect. We were poor, but we were happy. And
Mm,
I felt that if that person would have stayed, we probably would have not been that happy. I don't know if I'm making
exactly.
sense. So walking away she did, even though she probably didn't know, what she was doing. The walking away was a way for us to do better and to heal and to grow up super fast, but more responsible and not expecting anything in return from anyone. Because if the one that is supposed to love you the most walks away, right? So there's, you know what I mean? There's so many things there that, it helped us grow up in a different environment. And I thanked her for that as of late. I did. I said, thank you for leaving. Because I don't think we would be who we are today if we would have stayed.
And Miss Nexie, I'm so glad you said that because I said the opposite. I said the opposite to my parents. I said, I'm so glad that you guys were awful. I really am. I'm glad that you were awful. And they both looked at me like I was from another planet. And I said, I'm not saying it in a disrespectful way, but I said, I'm glad that you were as hard as you were because it caused me to become so soft.
Mm-hmm. It's
Hmm.
pretty much the same way. It's pretty much it's in the eye of the beholder, right? On what you say.
Hmm.
But but again, the thing is with older parents, and I'm gonna say the things that my grandpa used to say back in my day. um, back when they were growing up, that saying that I really don't like, that children are supposed to be seen but not heard, which I
Oh,
never
I
got
hate
that saying.
that.
I don't even know what that means. What do you mean? So I cannot walk because I'm gonna make noise? I took it literally. Like, okay, so you can see me. I'm gonna be like a picture. Just stay there so you can see me, but I'm not gonna be able to breathe or move. They grew up with that mentality. They got married and had children because that's what they were meant to be, supposed to do. It wasn't because they had planned this perfect, family, and they got married and had all, perfect family and children. It was something that they had to do. It was
Mm,
expected of them to do it, or they were weirdos because they weren't married or had children, right? I get that. I get that. But I tell people like that, yes, but as you got older in years, you have had to realize that that wasn't the right thing to do, or that you maybe because of that you didn't give your children the right attention and the right kind of love that they needed. And what you did is you saw everybody that's saying they're kids, here you go, you have a roof over your head, you have food. That should be everything for you. Every child is different, and which is
exactly.
why when we come from large families, sometimes you see that they're not even close. Everybody's doing their own thing. They don't even care for one another because they've been hurt in so many different ways. Because the parents
Mhm.
never took the time to see their kids for the differences that they had. Which one needs my most of my love? Which one needs most of my attention? Which one needs for me to back off a little? And I did that with my children. Even though sometimes they're like, Mom, you're hovering. You're a helicopter mom right now. And I had to be reminded from time to time, but I didn't take it the wrong way. They were telling me, Mom, we need space right now, right?
Mhm.
It's too much right now. So our parents didn't do that. They thought that and that I don't blame them either. I'm not blaming anyone here, but I hope that nobody takes it as I'm blaming someone. I'm not. What I'm saying is that in the time that they grew up, it was the same thing. It was probably even worse for them. So they think that they thought they were going to do better with us, a little better, right? And so we
Mhm.
have to, we have to work on that. We have to remember that that the bringing all these kids into this world and not even getting to know your children, that's the saddest part. They didn't even get to know their kids.
Mm-mm.
My father got
They
to know us because he was a single parent. Go on, Miss Marlene.
and I would say for my father, even though he had, like I think about, like, no wonder my dad was like so awesome at being so sweet and everything, because he was raised by women. He never knew his father at all. So I think that's one of the reasons why my dad was much more soft than my mother, because my mother was the disciplinarian, because she was raised under an what do you call it, like an iron thumb, like, there's no crying, there's no this,
The Iron
like,
Fist. The Iron
yeah,
Fist,
iron
right?
fist,
Yeah.
yeah, like, do the work, there's no like emotion. It was just like you were just like robotic almost. And
Hmm.
of course that transferred to her and how she would treat us and stuff. And I don't feel that she was trying to be a bad mom. She was just duplicating her upbringing.
Hmm. And tweaking
Mhm.
it a little so that at least you'll say, "Whoa, at least you don't have to worry about money like I did. You have everything. So what else? What more can you want? You know what I mean? You have a roof. You don't have to work for your food like I did. So you should be happy." And it's like, what?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, you know what I said? Said to that. I remember one day I told my mom, I said, Mom, I said, I appreciate everything that you've ever done for me. I said, you did the best that you could, and I really appreciate it. So that's when I really started changing, because I started to see her as a woman and not just as my mother. And I think sometimes we forget that our parents, siblings, other people in our life actually are humans, and they're not only there to serve us.
Yeah, again, and they're you know like us, defective humans. We have our own little traumas that we need to get over it. But this is the thing, though. I always said, I remember, we had a neighbor back home when I was growing up. Um, One of her kids was a good friend of ours, of my family, and she was, they were poor, super super poor people, Marlene. Poor, poor, poor. I mean, dirt,
Mm,
floors. They don't, in their huts, they didn't even have, tile or anything, just dirt. But the love in the household, Marlene, from the mom and the dad,
mhm,
was incredible. Those kids had so much attention and so much love. They had discipline, yeah. And these were uneducated people, but but you could tell the love that there was between them. The father worked, odd jobs here and there. He wasn't educated, so he couldn't get, an office job, but he did everything he could to provide for his family. Mom took in laundry. You know how back home you take in laundry from other people and do it for the rich people? And the mom, but she will take care of the kids and take them to school and do whatever. But the love in the household was, you could feel it. Even with the little bit that they had, they would still offer you, a little bit to eat or something. They were such wonderful people. And you go back to, okay, they were probably raised that way, right? They probably came again with from a poor family, but with love,
mhm.
respect, and attention,
True. It's
right?
it's
So it
it's
so I will see those differences. Oh, go on, Miss Marlene, go on.
I think that that's the thing that is so important. And one of the reasons why, to have this conversation is, um, people always talking to like blame their past. Now, I'm not saying that our past is not traumatic and painful and hurtful, and so many horrible things happen to us. But at what point are we going to allow ourselves to give ourselves the permission to live in the present and stop living in the past? That's something that I had to do as I matured, as I grew up, as I elevated, that I had to learn to stop blaming my past, stop, everything in my life, the things that were said to you, all of that.
Marlene, you had to walk away from your past,
Mm-hmm.
right? We had to walk away from our past and leave it just standing there. We used our two little legs and walked away from it.
Yeah, and
We
that's
have
the
to.
thing, and that's the thing that we sometimes don't understand. We get in the stage sometimes of blaming our past for how we are, or we complain about things. But one thing that my therapist helped me with for a long time, probably about 1 or 2 years, it took me to get this point, but I did eventually get it, that it's my life. And if I don't like something about it, then I have to have enough courage to change it. I can't keep saying my mom did this, or my dad did this, or my sibling did this, or my previous relationship. Oh yeah, of course we can always say that, but why live that way when we can live in happiness and peace, and we can have joy and get healthier relationships and people who will actually support us, instead of trying to push and force people who don't want to do it, or if they do it, they're going to complain about it. I was the one that had to say, I'm going to shift that and change it and choose to walk away and be happy.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly, Miss Marlene. And again, we're not doing this to blame our families or shame our families. No, we're not trying to do this. We're trying to do this, and doing this actually that we do every week, is to bring the back to the the imperfections that we had, that we're still not perfect. Our family isn't either. We're trying to work to the point where we can get a little better every day, a little bit
Mhm.
more, a little bit more, so that the next generations that come out of our families can have a better future, a healthier mind. You know what I mean? A more sane mind, a more healthier way of communication. So we're trying to do this to change our upbringing and make sure that what comes after that, us, has a much better way to be successful in this world. Because change doesn't adhere to the generation we're in right now, it will do it on the next generation a little
Mhm.
more, and the generation after that even more. So by educating ourselves and taking care of our mental health, our mental issues, our emotional issues, working them out, we're teaching our children we have right now to do the same for them, not to feel ashamed because they have to visit a therapist, or because they have to seek out help to work on their problems. We teach them it's okay. Now, my children's children are going to have a better mom because of the fact that their grandmother is already taking care of her past.
Mhm.
She's trying to work on her childhood now. My daughter knows that I've done that. She can do that for herself if she ever needs it, without her daughter finding out, and then teaching her daughter, it's okay. I seek help for this, right? You can always
Exactly.
seek help for anything you need. So we have to make sure that we're getting better and better and better, because we want to leave a better generation.
A legacy.
That's it. That's pretty much a better legacy. Yeah, a better legacy, Marlene. A better legacy. You're right. A better legacy than our parents left. Right?
Exactly. And I think that that's a great place for us to end today. Don't you think, Miss Maxie?
Yes, ma'am. My phone is telling me so.
Yeah.
And you always know. You always know when
I don't know. I can feel. See, that's the bestie
your
vibe. I
spidey
can pick up
senses.
your energy.
It's your spidey senses that you're like, yeah.
My
And
spidey
only
senses
because
are
Miss
tingling.
And only because Miss Marlene, Mr. Somebody, who name I will not mention, we went somewhere and he had my phone and he was playing with my phone, draining my entire thing. So I was like, oh my God. And when we got
Yeah.
home, you know, I told you in private what he had to do. So I was like, I
Mhm.
couldn't charge it right away. So, but anyway, this is a good segue. We can just stay here and then we'll come back next week.
Yeah. We'll be back like the light bill.
Yes. Well, no, that's not every month. Every week.
Yeah, that's right. That's every month. I recant
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
We'll be back.
Yes, ma'am. We
Thank you so
will.
much for thank you so
No,
much
it
everybody
is
for
important topics.
yes, very important topics. Thank you guys so much who came in live. Shout out to all the members, the mods, and those who support this channel. Me and Miss Nexie truly appreciate it, and we will see you all next week Thursday.
See you back on the Sip and Chat next week. Take care, everybody.
Take care, everybody. Bye bye.